Yo, what up, Street Talks? There, Kim. So the turbo thought. This turbo thought is about on the philosophy of money. So, what is money for? What is money good for? And so forth. So first and foremost, money is just a tool of human trust, exchange, and stuff like that. And this is where a lot of people are kind of like either misguided or stupid, or I don't know. It's like there's all these like utopists. Ironically, it's actually people who grew up in wealth and privilege who suddenly want to do away with money, class injustice, blah blah, and then make the world like this, place where everyone could just be free to indulge their creative interests without having to ever work again. Now, the reason why this is bad is that it somehow makes humans think that lust for more, greed, money, blah blah, is like all these evils that need to be stamped out of human consciousness. Now, let's consider the exact opposite. A human who didn't desire anything and they had this will to non-entity, aka most Buddhist monks. Now, I think for the most part, like Buddhism from a very pragmatic perspective is good insofar much as that it kind of gives you like some sort of like Zen, Om, peace, whatever. But it's very bad insofar much as it kind of squelches the human spirit and it prevents humans from pursuing more, desiring to become more and stuff like that. And so my personal thought is life is actually better when we desire to have more. Now, I do not consider myself a Buddhist, but I do like philosophies of Zen and Taoism, where it's just like kind of go with the flow, wu wei, action without action, and stuff like that, and being able to iterate, be adaptable, agile, pivot, whatever it may be. However, at the same time, we shouldn't get suckered into thinking that money is the root of all evil, blah blah, because I really do believe that it's really important that we use money in a meaningful, purposeful way. So I think the really bad thing when it comes to money is we think that money is the root of all evil, but then that kind of insinuates that you think that evil exists. So I don't believe good and evil exist. It's all subjective. I believe in ethics, however, was like, deciding what to do, what not to do as a human being. But all morals and ethics are all just subjective anyways. The reason I don't like notions of good or evil is that, that kind of brings like religion and spirituality into the equation, which I don't believe in. I don't believe in mysticism. I don't believe in hocus pocus and stuff like that. I'm like a pure, hard empiricist. I don't believe in ghosts, life after death, spirits, whatever. I mean, I do believe in the soul from like a very kind of like pragmatic perspective is, my soul I believe in a mortal soul. When I die, my soul also dies. And so, my soul is my ego, my soul is my body, my soul is how I think, how I live my life, and so forth. So, taking it back to the philosophy of money. So, the philosophy of money is very interesting to me because, Roman philosophers and to an extent some Greek philosophers have talked about money a lot. Actually, no, let me take it back. The Greeks don't really talk about money. So I actually prefer the Greeks over the Romans. The Romans are just like too concerned about like, city politics and, money acquisition, adding more marble to their mansions, whatever. But it looks like the ancient Greeks were more just kind of pure philosophers. So I think the ancient Greeks is the summit, but like Nietzsche says, we must even surpass the ancient Greeks. And so when it comes to money, essentially, I encourage you to be more hard and more critical, thinking about, what does money mean to you, and to adopt an ascetic lifestyle, ascetic. It comes from ancient Greek askesis or askesis, which literally means training. The ancient Stoics and Cynics, like Diogenes, did this well. There's a story where Diogenes, would hug statues, cold statues in the winter to just make himself stronger. So it does seem like the goal is to make ourselves more anti-fragile and stronger, and by adopting a more quote-unquote poverty lifestyle is actually hugely beneficial insofar much as you do have more power, freedom, and control over your life, and to only pursue what you care for and don't pursue nothing you don't care for. So this is why I'm pretty anti-ownership, in the sense that, like, I don't care whether I own it or not. Like, even in some sense, your life is on lease. Like, once you're dead, you can't take your body with you. I'm not like stuff like that. And so, you know, for the most part, I'm not interested in owning a home for the sake of owning a home in itself. You know, even like digital cameras and smartphones and laptops and stuff like that, I don't really care to own it. It's just more convenient that way. And so for me, it's not about this abstract notion of ownership as being good into itself. Actually, it just comes down to convenience and maximizing my freedom, flexibility, and optionality. Because, you know, if I had to keep renewing my contract to use my laptop, that'd be pretty annoying. But at the same time, I don't like to be weighed down by material possessions, places, things, and stuff like that. And what I desire to be is like the ultimate free spirit. I just want to be like a bird and fly. And I don't like nothing strapping me down. But anyways, so when it comes back to the philosophy of money, I mean, this took me a long time to unlearn too, because, you know, I grew up pretty poor, not like super poor, but, you know, I think my mom did bankruptcy twice. My dad was like addicted to gambling. He would always gamble away the rent money, blah, blah. And so as a consequence, I never really knew how to save money. And the good thing is I never went into debt as a kid. I learned early on that, you know, get a credit card or a debit card once you're 15 years old, pay off your balance at the end of every single month, and this is a good way to build your credit score. And so the good thing is now I have an excellent credit score, actually above 800. And so as a consequence, like, but then the downside is, because my dad's always gambling in the rent money, or just the culture in which I grew up in, like, immediately once I got my money, I would go out and buy new sneakers, or, you know, buy Adidas track jacket, or, you know, buy mods for my car. And so once I got the money, I immediately spent it. I didn't know this notion of like earning money and just kind of letting it chill in your bank account. So, you know, I still haven't figured out, you know, my whole personal philosophy behind money, but the general gist is I'm less price sensitive. I just use thinking money just more pragmatically as a tool, not to get so emotional about money. I think when there's too many emotions involved in money, it's kind of bad for either A, spending money, because also to be too much of a Scrooge McDuck is also not a good thing, but also spending money too frivolously is not good too, just from a purely pragmatic thing. Because, you know, once you're in debt, use a slave. I hate to admit it to anybody, but as long as you have a car payment, you have a mortgage, you're paying off additions to your house, you know, college loan, there's no such thing as good debt. All debt is bad debt. And there's a reason why in the Bible they considered pursuery or usury, or like lending at exorbitant rates above, like, you know, I don't know what percentages was, like 5, 10, 8, 12%, as being immoral and evil, because that's how a lot of companies, you know, these cash payday loan places are so super predatory. And actually, in my opinion, I would say it's kind of evil, or just bad. So when it comes to your own money philosophy, dictate for yourself what money means to you. You are not your bank account. You're not the amount of, you know, G's or K's or M's or B's you could, or Z's or T's you could attach at the end of your name. It was actually funny because, like, you know, Jay-Z's whole life goal was to become a billionaire. So he's like, you know, he could be like, I'm worth 1 B now, you know, a billion, or like 100 M's, $100 million. But then the irony is that 1 B is less than 100 M's in terms of just the digits. Like 1 is less than 10 or 100. But anyways, so don't attach your self-worth to numbers. Don't attach your self-worth to money, and really let's become harder, more critical, and think of money just as a practical tool.